Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Aubriana Busby. We have a really good student with us, someone from College Community Career. This is Uriel Gonzalez from A&M University. We're going to ask him a couple questions so he can tell you guys about his college experience. So Uriel, if you could start by please introducing yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Uriel Gonzalez. I am originally from Norfolk High School, right? I'm currently attending Texas A&M University. I'm currently a senior as well, studying business/financial planning. And something after college, graduation, I just want to work in the financial industry as a finance major, maybe financial planner, anything finance related.
That's exciting. So, like I said, we're going to ask a couple questions starting all the way from orientation to college classes. So, how was your orientation experience? Your student orientation experience? What advice do you have for seniors who may be forced to attend their orientation online due to COVID-19?
So my senior orientation, that was back in like 2016. It wasn't fun, I'll tell you that. Going to Texas A&M University, it's a big campus. I think it was my second time being there actually. The first time was the College Community Career, so I was lost the whole time. It was I think it was July. It was hot, super hot, and we were lost the whole time. I had to attend a couple other things that I don't even know where we were at. So for you guys to have it online, I think it's kind of like a pro. Um, you guys can sit down at home and just pretty much do anything without getting lost. Your parents won't be in the sun the whole time, so I think it's pretty good.
Okay. As far as your roommate selection went, did you choose to participate in the roommate selection? Did you room with someone that you already knew? How was your experience with your roommate? And of course, what advice do you have for any students that may be living with a stranger come the fall?
So I did actually participate in the roommate selection. I had a couple friends come to Texas A&M from my high school, but it just kind of went everywhere. So I applied late to housing, so I kind of got last pick choice or anything like that. So I participated in roommate selection. My roommate actually was from College Station, so his house was maybe 10 minutes away. So for me, personally, it was fine. My roommate was never there. He was working two jobs, so I had the whole room to myself. For many of you guys, that might not happen. You might actually have a roommate who's in there the whole time, or you're gonna see him more often. So for me, to give you guys some general advice, some general tips is the first week, right? If you're having an issue with your roommate, you don't like him, right? I believe the RAs are able to switch your room in between the first week or so. So take heed of that. The second is set boundaries within the first week, right? You're gonna be living with this person for a semester, maybe two semesters at the whole time, right? So I recommend you guys doing a roommate agreement, right? So RAs are not forced to do roommate agreements, but just in case, precautions and everything like that, do a roommate agreement. You guys can decide when you want the lights off or how high do you want the lights, the noise level. Can you have people in there, anything like that. So I highly suggest doing that as well.
Sounds like you got lucky. Your roommate situation sounds like you had the room to yourself most of the year. That's great. So after making your school, your housing, your meal plan selections, how exactly did you prepare for the transition from high school to college? So from living at your parents' house to kind of being on your own, so to speak.
That's a great question, and honestly, I don't even know how I did it. It just happened so quick. I was working at King Dollar during the whole summer, so I suggest you guys start something, start an internship, start working somewhere, earn some cash, get some money, because college is not so cheap sometimes. It's not cheap at all. But so make sure you have some extra money saved up. Maybe you want to buy your books online or buy them used somewhere. So because some of that refund that comes back, for me, it came out like maybe 2 3 months, and I had to buy my books, my access. So make sure you have a little bit of money saved up for anything like that, any emergencies.
So everyone talks about how much harder college is than high school. You hear stories about your professors. They're just not going to help you. They're not going to take anything that your high school teachers took from you or that they accepted. What advice do you have for incoming students about the rigor of college courses and how to be successful?
Hear out everything they're saying, right? Take it seriously. It's not a joke. The rigorous is just it increases dramatically sometimes. So take your first exams, like your round of exams, seriously. For me personally, I'm still kind of suffering from not taking it so serious my freshman year. So it can actually hurt you down the line. Perhaps some internships, that require a GPA of 3.5, 3.0 above. So take it seriously. Use your resources. Don't be afraid to ask for help, right? Ask professors, ask anyone in the class, right? That you feel comfortable with, right? So, don't be afraid. Just ask for help if you need it.
I think you made a good point. A lot of freshmen come in and they think, kind of like in high school, it doesn't matter until like closer to graduation when I'm looking for a job. But you're exactly right. That GPA, if you kind of mess up or you get a little shaky in the beginning, it's harder to bring up your GPA than it is to bring it down.
Yeah.
So we know you're really involved on campus, but how did you get involved on campus? And would you mind sharing some of the organizations or things that you're involved in? And then, of course, what advice would you give for students about getting involved?
So for me, I think my freshman year as I started out, I wasn't doing much, right? I was just a homebody, if you want to call it that. I was in my room. Since my roommate was never there, he had the Xbox. I enjoyed Xbox Live 24/7. And that's part of like taking it serious, right? I wasn't taking my school serious or anything like that. So my freshman year, my first semester really suffered. My second semester, I decided to try to get involved, try to meet new people. I was just in my room the whole time. I didn't know anyone, maybe for like two, three people, right? But I wanted to meet new people, so I went to open house, right? They call it open house, something like that. The MSC open house, right? Over here at A&M, and there's a thousand or so clubs out there, and you just kind of pick whatever you want. So for me, I wanted to do something that not everyone's doing, something that's interesting and something that's way out of my comfort zone. So I decided to join an ASL group. It's called Deaf for Aggies or something like that. Um, so meet new experiences, new culture, anything like that. And then towards my sophomore year, I became a resident advisor, and my boss at the time, right? He looked at my resume and told me, "Hey, man, you need to get more involved. All I see is like maybe one club. Tell you what, I'll go introduce you to my friend. His friend turned out to be one of the leaders at the multicultural office over there at A&M, and he was involved. He was in charge of everything, right? So he was like, okay, so what would you like to do? Um, what is it that you want to try? And just gave me a list. I narrowed it down, and I attended a meeting. And I told one of my friends, right, from my dorm, I was like, hey, come with me. Maybe you'll like this. Maybe I'm afraid to go. I want you to go. If we both like it, then we can stay, right? So turns out we did. We did like it. We enjoyed it. The atmosphere was amazing. That group I met there are still my friends right now. And through that, your network grows tremendously. And then there's people that just want to help you out as well. Um, so, and then, sidetrack, my friend actually became an officer for the organization. So, I kind of gave him a tip. So, help him out with his resume. And then from there, my junior year, I want to get more involved. It's your junior years when you start looking for internships, you start looking for jobs. So your junior year is important, kind of like your high school, when you're working on the ACT. So that's important. So I wanted to stand out, and I did some volunteering work for the career closet, right? So it's pretty much just suits. We help you guys get red suits, look great for the job, for your interview, or anything like that, anything career related. And I think that's amazing, right? Because for me, before I didn't have a suit. This is my personal suit now. You got to invest in a suit sometimes. And I think it's important. Invest for a suit, for real. I'm here for real. Invest for a suit. You look great. Your confidence boosts up. And then from there, I joined organizations through the housing department, right? So like I mentioned before, I'm currently a resident advisor. So resident advisors, aren't just your resident advisors. Sometimes they are able to join other groups if they want to. So I decided to pursue that. I joined another organization where we did pretty much programs, right, for many of the other RAs. And from there, my senior year, I ended up taking 18 hours. So you got to make sure what you're doing. And I knew being too involved was not going to help me, it was going to hurt me. So I decided to lay away from some of those organizations for a bit and just do it. Don't be afraid, get out there, know your limits as well. I have certain friends who are over involved and never have time for studying. So their grades are plummeting right now. I feel bad for them. But know about yourself, Hira. Know about how you can handle things and know your limits for sure.
I think that's important, knowing that balance. Of course, you're in college to get good grades and take your courses, but of course, you're there to network and meet new people. So yes, definitely finding that balance of when can I go to class, how many organizations can I participate in and still do well in my courses. That's very important. So just one more question. If you could leave your high school self, or I guess even your younger college self, with just one piece of advice, what would that be?
That's a great question, and sometimes I even think about this till today. Just don't be afraid, be open to new challenges, get out of your comfort zone. Things are they're a reason why they're out of your comfort zone, right? It's new challenges, new experiences, and I think it's important to tackle on those, right? Don't be afraid, it might be a missed opportunity that you didn't. So keep on grinding, as we say, put in the work, right, and just be the best that you can be.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Uriel. Can you tell us a little bit about when you're graduating? I know you came in here with your ring and your watch. Can you tell us the story behind those?
So I'm currently a senior, right? I mentioned that earlier today. I'm at Texas A&M University. I'm currently an ag. So here's my ring. Recently got it during the summer. Unfortunately, the whole Corona thing, I wasn't able to have my ring day, but it came through UPS, and I was able to share that moment with my mom, just me and her. So it was beautiful. On top of that, I actually have my Buck Wires watch as well, so you gotta match it. And a little bit about this watch, it's important, right? It's not important, but it's something that makes you stand out among the whole Texas A&M community as well. And any recruiter out there who's currently an Aggie or was an Aggie can see that in your resume. They're like, oh wow, I want to hire this guy. I had friends who didn't even go to the interview. They just saw his resume, saw the Book Wires word in his resume, and like, okay, I want to hire you ASAP, no questions asked. So it's just the power of the Aggie network is important, and it's real. I'll tell you, it's real. I had previously at the other CCC office, there was a lawyer next door, and she just asked us questions. She was like, all right, what university you guys attend? I was like, hey, Texas University. She was like, all right, no more questions. Come in next week. I said, what's that? So the Aggie network is real. But back to the award, right? Only 55 students per year per spring semester get it. So um, it's prestigious, right? That's what they call it, right? They call it the prestigious Book Wires Award. So be involved, right? I didn't get this for sitting my butt playing Xbox all day, right? Be involved, meet people, do things, right? Join, apart from joining your clubs, right? Be an officer, be a mentor, be something, and that can make you stand out. And not just for the award, right? But when you're looking out for jobs, questions to ask you is like, okay, how do you fit into this job? Why should we hire you? Things like that. So I think overall it's just experience, and with experience is knowledge, right? So keep at it.
Thank you so much. I'm sure, of course, our future Aggies and any of our high school students looking to get into college are just going to take your advice. Hopefully they heed your advice. They listen to your advice. You have a lot of great advice. We're super excited for you, of course. We know it's your senior year. You'll be graduating soon. We can't wait to see what the future has in store.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Uriel.